this is Jerome, and I'm standing in a vineyard here in Sonoma County of 122-year-old zinfandel vines. Just take a look at that thing. Isn't that massive? That's an amazing work of creation and work of God. That vine was here long before you and I were here, and it's still producing fruit. Just take a look at these grapes. That's a red zinfandel grape. It's really sweet. Most of the fruit has actually come off the vines from this season, which is a good thing because, as you know, wildfires have ravaged Northern California here just in the last week or two, and we're just a few days behind the horrors. And by the mercies of God, this winery and vineyard was preserved, but many lost homes and some lost their lives. It was a horrific tragedy in this area. But the vines continue on, and they continue to produce their fruit and tell their story. You know, there's an old Latin expression, in vino veritas. It means in the wine is truth. Now, sometimes take that expression to mean that the more wine you drink, the more of the truth you tell. And while that could be true, there's a much deeper reality expressed in that phrase, and that is that there is truth in the wine. This glass of wine tells the truth about the experience. It tells the truth about the temperatures from this vintage, from the climate, from the rainfall and the soil, and of course everything that happens in the winery itself, how long the winemaker chooses to leave the wine on the lees, in the oak, how long it's aged, what varietals are blended together. These are all part of the art and science of winemaking. And our lives are not dissimilar to this, because our lives tell the truth. Our lives, when we're put under pressure, just like those grapes are put under pressure, something comes forth in our lives too. And it'll either be sweet or bitter, and you know, we get some of both of those things. This is a beautiful, beautiful old vine zen, and it tells a story of tending by God and tending by humans in this great partnership. But we could say that in Formatio Veritas, we could say that in our own formation, there is truth. You know, that our lives tell a story. So just like the vines tell a story of temperatures and these huge diurnal shifts here in California, gets up to 90 degrees in the daytime and 40 degrees in the evening, and that produces some stress in the vines, which is actually a good thing for vines. So they really thrive in this kind of tension, environmental tension. And sometimes the winemakers will even create additional tension by doing what they call a green harvest and taking off some of the fruit early in the season, so that the vines have to push more of their energy and fruitfulness into the remaining clusters to create an even more concentrated grape. So our lives experience pressure too, don't they? Yeah. And what comes forth in our lives tells the story of what you and I have chosen to invest in our lives. Some of those things were not choices that we made. The homes that we grew up in, the life experiences that we've had, some good, some terribly difficult, and yet they produce stress in our lives and they bring forth fruit. So what kind of fruit's coming forth in your life right now? And what kind of winemaking do you want to do in your life with what you've been given? So just as vines are this partnership between God and humans, so our lives are a partnership between what's been handed to us, what we create, and what God allows into our lives. So we get to choose. We get to choose the spiritual practices that can deepen our roots and enrich our fruit. We can allow the stresses and difficulties of our lives to either make us bitter or, as they say, better. And that's more than just a trite expression. That really is an act of surrender to the purposes of God and the challenges of daily life. So, in vino veritas, may your day and this stage and season in your journey be rich and full and delicious and full of the purposes and goodness of God. Thanks. Talk to you later.